life is not simply black and white. Okay? Life is not simply black and white. And what do I mean by that? Well, us as humans, majority of us seem to have a habit of binary thinking, right? The thinking of there's only really two options to a particular scenario or a situation, right? Plan A, plan B, this or that, right or wrong, good or bad, with us or against us, right? And I get it, because binary thinking in itself, it's easy, it's comfortable, doesn't require you to think much in that regard. And, that's where a lot of, tribalism comes into play, a lot of group thinking comes into play and stuff like that. What I'm suggesting is life is really a grey area more than anything else, okay? It's full of complexities, it's full of context within context, it's full of nuance, right? Almost every decision that you make in life requires more thinking. It requires better thinking, in my opinion, okay? That's where discernment comes into play, right? Some decisions you can make pretty easy, right? If you're quite convinced about it, and especially if your intuition is telling you to make a decision, it's a lot easier, right? But most situations aren't as simple as they may seem on the outside. Okay? From the outside looking in, from you looking at a different situation from a third person perspective, you might think it's quite simple and quite easy to figure out whatever the situation may be. But in actual fact, it's probably not, depending on if it's involving another person, depending if it's involving a different matter entirely, politically, economically, socially, you pick. That's the point I'm trying to make, is don't go into a situation thinking that it's easy, that it looks easy, or it's simple to figure out, or it's just as easy as giving someone a solution, be like, that's what you should do. Majority of the time it's not. And like I said, that's where discernment comes into play. That's where listening more comes into play. It's where being more understanding comes into play, empathy, and so forth. Okay? And it's also not painting everyone with the same brush. Okay? Majority of us seem to have this habit, depending on if it's a certain group, a certain nationality, a certain religion, or anything like that. Something might happen which might involve someone from any of those different groups or religions or societies or something like that, and automatically people will just go, that means everyone from that group or religion or society is bad. That's obviously not the case. It's obviously not the case. That's why I say, don't paint everyone with the same brush. Don't think every situation is as easy as it seems from the outside looking in. Okay? Because 9 times out of 10 it's not. You've got the expression of judging a book by its cover. Maybe open the book first, and you might be surprised about your opinion potentially being wrong. If you watched my last video with regards to when I was talking about intuition, it might have seemed like I was being critical of critical thinking, funny enough, or of reasoning and logic. No, that's not the case. Logic, reasoning, and critical thinking has its separate benefits, its separate pros when you compare it to like your own intuition, your own gut, right? But this is one of those scenarios where, critical thinking, you have to use that. You have to use your reasoning, you have to use your logic, you have to use your common sense and be like, okay, the situation looks like this from the outside. Perhaps if I look into it more, or I give it, maybe try and give it more understanding, then I might be more informed, or I might have a better idea of it, whatever it may be, you know? So the whole thing of life is not black and white, it's very generic. It doesn't just relate to one specific thing. It relates to a whole variety of things in your life. Okay? If you can adopt this sort of thinking, then yeah, I think you'll find it a lot easier to understand certain things, whatever it may be that you're thinking about or you're going through or something like that, or you're trying to understand more. Yeah, that's what I think. Anyways, I hope you liked this video. If you did, great, awesome. I'm glad it helped. If you have any questions, or if you think I'm wrong on anything, feel free to leave a comment on underneath my YouTube video, or feel free to message me on my Instagram page, which is also called StirringTeaInACrazyWorld. And yeah, I look forward to speaking to you. Anyways, see you later.